Well, I think it's a balanced approach. I think firstly it's actually segmenting the two and understanding, those people that are leaving and those people that are staying. If we look at those people that are staying, I think the core is around communication. It's around continued investment in training and development, mobility, and giving those people something that ties them to the employee value proposition of the organization. So the talent that's likely to remain in the organization as you make job cuts tends to be your top performing talent. They would tend to be the last people that are let go in any crisis. So as a result, in terms of those people, you really need to invest in them, communicate with them, help them understand the business's strategy, regularly, and over communicate with them so they understand the decisions that the organization is making, and in some ways consult with them and help them use their expertise and their knowledge of working in the job day to day to help you understand what the shape of that particular organization or product delivery to the customer should actually look like. On the flip side of that, when you're going through downsizing activities, I think it all comes back to effective planning. So, how are you downsizing? On what basis? Is it based on purely economic reasons? Is it based on performance of the individuals? Is it a combination of all? Is it market downturn? And really sitting down and establishing, and the more progressive organizations and those that will prosper better will actually start with a blank piece of paper and say, okay, what does the shape of the organization need to look like? And when you look at organizational design or organizational development, rather than starting with people and slotting them into different boxes, let's design what the organization should look like. Then let's look at the skill sets that are required for the organization, whether that be today, tomorrow, and in the future. And then let's start to actually bring that at a workforce level to understand what we have and what we don't have. We're seeing a significant increase across the market today where organizations are doing two things. One is they are gathering market intelligence and market mapping and understanding what talent and what skill sets and customer base their competitors actually have. Alongside that, they're actually assessing their existing workforce to understand the talent that they have within the organization, the skill sets that exist, and how those are aligned to their organizational structure. Off the back of that allows them to make much more informed decisions around any downsizing activity in terms of who remains within the workforce, and unfortunately those who are let go. When it comes to letting people go in the organization, that's never an easy decision, and it's never an easy communication to have with people. People have their own individual needs and their own individual requirements, but ultimately people want to be treated fairly, equally, and openly with some degree of honesty. And the organizations that communicate effectively with people, help them understand the business circumstances and the reasons why those decisions are being made, and ultimately the reasons why they themselves have been selected as opposed to others, will mean that those people leave with a greater desire to rejoin that organization, or leave with as positive a feeling as they may be able to, even though they're leaving in a downward economy. Ultimately, it goes back to the strength of the HR, the finance, and the executive leadership within the organization. And those three components really need to be working effectively and working closely together. We've seen in recent times the human resources community has really been focused on how do we scale up and how do we bring in the skills that are required in the organization. And only 6 months ago, it was really about recruitment. Now, the shift is really around effective downsizing and retention of the skill sets that are required. And so, as a result, you're seeing executives working, with their HR and their finance team to try look at the business requirements and combine that with the people requirements of the organization. And so I think there is an opportunity, as I said earlier, to really segment those that are staying and the requirements of those that are staying within the organization and those that are unfortunately leaving the organization. The more progressive organizations as well, is whilst they're making those decisions and whilst they're looking at that, will take opportunities to really go through merger and acquisition activities. We're also seeing organizations go out and proactively move teams of people from one organization to the other. And I spoke earlier about the markets not necessarily being awash with talent as everybody anticipates in all areas. And I think one of the things that's proving more and more difficult for organizations when they do have identified target talent that they want to bring in for competitors is actually how to encourage those people to move. Many people have become more conservative in terms of their desire to move based on the current economy. They've got limited limited redundancy protection if they move to a new organization. And so, if you're a top performing talent within an organization, it's going to take a lot for you to be able to move or for you to be encouraged to move away. So I think if you take all of those things and you can effectively align the business strategy, some level of knowledge or anticipation of the economic developments and the likely return or rebound and any injection of financial packages that come into the market themselves, and then combine that with any of the activities that you as a business need to do to take advantage of that rebound, but also work in the current climate.